Well, we've had lunch, and now we're starting the afternoon portion of our Missouri Valley Conference Media Day coverage here live at the MAC in downtown St. Louis. Back here on Valley Hoops Insider, head coach Ben Jacobson of the Northern Iowa Panthers, and you've been doing this a minute, and so year after year, back down. What's advantageous about this? I don't interrupt your schedule and all that, but what is valuable about this?
Yeah, I think either the most or one of the most valuable aspects to the day is spending some time with the guys. Because when we're together, it's at practice or it's getting ready to go on the bus, get on the plane, or watching film. In the film room, when we're talking about, hey, you did this pretty good, or you didn't do this, you're gonna have to do that different. You're gonna have to do that. Where today there's none of that. Today we're together, traveling, and hanging out, talking about fantasy football. We were upstairs, and they're changing into their suits, helping the guys tie a tie. And they get this. Really, for me, Harry, that's the most valuable part of today.
How is your fantasy football team?
1-1.
Okay, well, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about AJ and just your communication with him. How's he doing right now?
Yeah, he's doing great. He was back this past weekend again, and was over. Summer League went really well for him. I think people probably had a chance that would be interested in the Valley, and maybe the guys in our league that go on and get into Summer League, right? I mean, there would have been people that would have watched, beyond just Northern Iowa fans that have that interest, would have seen him in Summer League, and he had the great first game, and then played pretty good in two or three others. Had one game where he wasn't as good, made a bunch of shots in the game toward the end. So Summer League went well. But the time he was over in Milwaukee for 3 weeks with a lot of the younger guys. He thought the workouts went well. He felt good about them. We've seen him 2 or 3 times when he's been back for the weekend, and he's got a good confidence about it. He feels good about how things are going, and as we know, like the best part about AJ is that no matter how well it may be going, he's going to get in and work, right? So it isn't a deal where he feels like he's made it. But I know he's confident in how he's played, and I know he's confident in where he's at. And we're excited to see how training camp starts in about a week to 10 days here. Training camp starts. And I just can't wait to see how that part goes and see where he starts the season.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
So obviously he's a gaping hole, however, in the Panther lineup. But you've got a ton of guys back. I mean, it's not like he left and, we don't know who's going to play. Talk a little bit about that continuity that you guys have been able to hold on to.
Yeah, I think, in terms of AJ, when you think about our backcourt, Bowen and Nate are guys that have been, for 2 years, they've been really good, as freshmen, great freshman years. Then again last year, Nate's been a full-time starter for 2 years already. Bowen, freshman of the year, last year, sixth man of the year. So those two guys have got a bunch of game minutes, and they've played well. So for us, a great place to start. But then beyond those guys, Titan Anderson, Cole Henry, James Betts, gives us 3 more guys that are going into their 3rd or 4th year in our program. So we've got 5 guys that have been around for a little bit. After that, we get pretty young. After that, we've got 3 redshirt freshmen. We've got a couple of true freshmen, and then we're waiting to see if for us, our old man, Austin Fife is going into year 6. We're waiting to see if we, not only a very good player, but terrific young guy. And you talk leadership, and you talk camaraderie, like he's all of those things. And we won't know until kind of early to mid-October whether he's going to be able to play or not. So, we've got a pretty good mix of 5 or 6 guys that have been around a little bit, 2 or 3 that have played a lot, and then we get pretty young after that.
You talked about Austin. I wanted to ask you about him. 100% about health, or are there other issues?
Yeah, so he feels great right now. Best he's felt since he got COVID a year ago, June. So going on 14, 15 months where this is the best he has felt health-wise. So we feel very fortunate. We feel really good about his health and where he's at there. He had, we talked about it, just a little bit about there was a bump in the road because he felt great in the spring. He didn't feel so good in mid-May to mid-June and ended up going in. He had blood clots in his lungs, and they had to go in and do that procedure to get the blood clots out. That went great. Since then, he has felt better every week to 10 days. He keeps feeling better and better. And like I said, right now he feels great, but we've got to go back and appointments are early October.
Yeah.
We've got to go back to Mayo up in Rochester and get a really good look at where he's at and how his body has recovered from the blood clots. And if everything looks good, he wants to play. He 100% wants to play and wants to have a year where he's healthy. But we've got to wait until we get that done early October.
It'll be in our prayers. Talk about the league in transition. I mean, you're obviously the guy that's been in the league the longest of all the coaches now, but with 3 new teams and Loyola out, just talk about where you see the league in a general way.
Yeah, I really like where we're at. With UIC, with Belmont, with Murray, of course, being the 3 teams that we added to the league. I think our league has got a lot to offer to whether it was, most recently Loyola when they joined. I think our league has got a tremendous amount to offer to UIC, to Belmont, to Murray. And I feel strongly and passionately about what Belmont, Murray, and UIC are bringing to the Valley. We're a better league right now than we were before the 3 of them joined us. So I feel great about it, Barry. I do. Obviously, we lose a good team in Loyola, but the 3 that come in, with what Belmont and Murray have done consistently over the course of time, and I think UIC, I think it's a great marriage, if you will. I think UIC is going to help our league. I think our league can benefit UIC in some ways. So yeah, I do. I feel great about where we're at, and I think we came out of this on the positive side.
We talked about Nate and Bowen being kind of the backcourt guys that we're all aware of, but they both play with such a, tenacity, a passion that's, I think, unique.
Yeah, they bring most of that from home. They bring that from mom and dad and their families and Nate's got an older sister playing hockey at a very high level, University of Minnesota, and some USA hockey stuff. He's got a younger brother that's going to be a scholarship player. Bowen's got a younger brother that is a good player, a couple years younger than he is, and their families are competitive families. That's where that starts with those 2 guys, and then for the opportunity to be with not just AJ. But a guy like Austin Fife, a guy like Trey Burhow, a guy like Taiwan Pickford, guys that have been the older guys for those 2 since they've gotten here. That's served those guys well.
I know that. How can I say this? Coaching your own son is an interesting place, but your son joins the team this year. That's got to be fun to look forward to.
Oh, it's been great. I've loved it, and it's a unique situation in a couple of ways. One, he's walked on with us, and he's excited about it. I couldn't be more thrilled about it. He had an ACL injury in the middle of football of his senior year, got 10 and a half months past it, and retore the same ACL. So now that's about 2.5 months ago. So unique from that standpoint that he's going back-to-back ACLs, and he's going to spend basically 2 years rehabbing. Right? So it won't be as much of the on-court stuff. And then, a little bit unique in the fact that I see him pretty much every day now, right? For the last 3 or 4 years of high school, right? You didn't see him as much as I see him right now, and you get a chance to talk with him at practice and be around him. And so I'm loving it. Where it ends up going in terms of playing, he's got to get healthy from the second knee surgery, and then we'll see what that all means. He does, he thinks he wants to get into coaching, and so we feel like he's in a good spot with the players, the teammates he's got, the coaches that we've got on staff. So thrilled about it.
So many of your guys have come from that same high school, and that could seem like, oh, we're just drawing from the hometown team, but they're really good players, aren't they?
They are. State tournament, each year for a number of years in a row now. A couple of state championships, into the semis, a couple other times. Good players, and good young guys. And Trey Campbell is a true freshman point guard that we think highly of. I think Trey's going to be a really good player in our league. I think he's going to be good nationally. Chase Corbett and Landon Wolf both redshirted a year ago. Landon's a 6'5" wing that can really, really shoot it. And Chase is 6'9", 6'10", and getting bigger and stronger. And so, we good players.
I don't want to talk about your son again in a minute. He gets past the knee, let's say. He, get that all comes out fine. And when people look at him, they're going to think, well, he's the coach's kid. But he, 3-sport star, real great, outstanding athlete. I mean, like, he's not just a charity case. He's a legit player.
You know, he with the knee injury, he didn't get to play basketball his senior year and didn't get to run track, but so not completely aware of the level as a basketball player, but watching him play football as their quarterback, watching him play basketball prior to the injury, watching him run track prior to the injury, like he's everything else. You know, he's tough and he's competitive. He's a great teammate, and so all of those things will be positive for the program. And then see when he gets healthy, we'll see basketball wise where he fits in. But the other stuff, he's going to be great for our team.
Appreciate the time. I'm going to talk to Nate now.
Yeah.
Giving me that mic back. Here we are live right here on the interwebs. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Let's get you hooked up there.
Ben Jacobson is my roadie now. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jake. Nate Heisey's with us, and I started off by asking Jake about AJ. What kinds of things did you learn from him, watching him play or being a teammate, or maybe things he said to you?
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better teammate my first 2 years. Off the court and on the court, he just worked harder than anybody I ever met. So, I mean, if you can follow in his footsteps a little bit, and I know all of us on the team have, we're just so excited to watch him in the future. And he's left so much at Northern Iowa that we're so grateful for.
So do you have gear, signed stuff, or in case he makes it big?
Well, he's already made it big, in my opinion. Yeah, we all got a little. We always know that he comes back all the time, and this summer we played one-on-one quite a bit, so we always know he's going to be back. So if we ever need anything, we'll let him know, and he'll be there for us.
You're a top-level defender, and I know there's technique to that, but it's about effort as much as anything else. Just talk about, your defensive prowess.
Yeah, that's for sure. It definitely requires some sort of skill, but more often than not, it's just effort. And that comes with rebounding, with defense, with everything, and just hustling and being in the right mentality. Just going into the game, not strictly focused on offense, allows you to play defense at a high level. And I came in my freshman year wanting to establish myself as a defensive player, and I continue to look forward to keep doing that.
And to be on the floor for Coach Jacobson, you have to be a good defender.
Yeah, that's a given. You're not going to play unless you're a good defender.
So AJ's this big gap in your, in what was last year. How do you guys fill in those point totals?
Yeah, it'll definitely be a different team. Our offense will be pretty similar, but I think that different guys are going to have to step up. And AJ carried the load a lot last year, AJ, Noah, and all them. But we got a lot of guys who are capable, and we're going to probably play a little bit of different style of basketball, play great defense, and score more points into their team. That's all you need to do.
You guys run that pick and roll like crazy, and then I see Nate Heisey running along the baseline for layups. That's a sweet design, isn't it?
Yeah, it works really well, and a lot of the attention always was on AJ, on Noah, and it allowed me to kind of pick my spots here and there and find opportunities when they came.
Appreciate it. I'm going to get tightened in here so we can just move this along. I think you guys have to go up there pretty quickly. And this guy sitting down is an electric player. What's that? Okay, yeah, let me clip that on being all kind of different directions. Titan Anderson with us, and I said while we were putting the mic on, you're kind of an electric kind of a guy. What I mean is when you're out there, we notice you're out there.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's something that I always want to bring to the table and bring that for the guys as well when they need to pick me up.
When you look at this team and you see the different players, Bowen and Nate and the others, and we hope Old Man Fife gets to come back. But where do you see your role?
I mean, I see just same thing as last year, but a little bit more towards the scoring and kind of being a facilitator and getting downhill and opening shots for them as well. So it's going to be more rebound and defense, stuff like that, but as well contributing on the offensive end as well.
So Coach Jake is like legendary around here, in the Valley. Tell me what makes him such an amazing coach.
I mean, he just sets a great culture with the team, and he really emphasizes what he wants out of the team, and what he expects out of the team. I think that plays a big role early.
So if Austin comes back, or if he doesn't, it seems like there's about 3 or 4 or 5 guys that are all those big 6'9" guys, pick and roll guys. You guys love to run that off the top of the key. Maybe that'll be different without AJ, but talk about that.
Yeah, with Fife, that'll be big for us because he plays inside out, so he can step out, pick and pop, he can pick and roll. I mean, it'll be really big for us if we can get Big Fife back.
So there were moments when, it was about 2 years ago, when James Betts would just go off every once in a while. What are you looking for from him?
Oh, I mean, he definitely can go off. I mean, he can shoot it at a high level, and he's good in the pick and roll as well. So I'm really excited to see what James does this year.
All right, we're going to drag Bowen in here now. We're going to get all 3 of these guys. Appreciate you guys sitting down with me. Tom, is this all right? Okay.
Just clip this right here on the side.
Yes, sir. Maybe higher.
Down first.
There you go.
Right there. Good.
Perfect. It's Bowen Born with us. Live video. It's amazing watching us put microphones on. 2 years in a row, you've made some, those postseason teams, right?
Yeah.
Freshman of the year, newcomer of the year, sixth man kinds of things. And it's been a process, right? I mean, 1 year you don't have AJ, then the next year have AJ back. Now he's gone again. Just can you look back and evaluate those last 2.5 years and where are we at today?
Yeah, it's just about like constant adjustment. You're always trying to adjust to things that sometimes are out of your control. And so for me, my freshman year, we had guys get hurt and I stepped into a bigger role. And then obviously last year had a bunch of guys back and stepped into a smaller role and came off the bench the entire year. And so for me, it was always, trying to adjust and try to get the most out of whatever time I was, on the court, but also off the court as well. When you're not playing as much, how can you still impact the game and how can you still continue to help your teammates? And so, again, this year guys left. And so now it's going to be an adjustment for me, but as well as my teammates, everybody's kind of stepping into a bigger role. And I think that's been something that's been really fun this summer is to see guys, take, that and be ready for it, and guys have really felt like they've gotten after it in practice and are really ready to step into bigger roles.
Awesome. And I know that when you've got a player like AJ, there's an offensive system you guys are going to run, and yet, we're going to make sure he has the ball. And so similarly, is that a role that is going to fall more to Bowen Born this year?
It's kind of hard to tell. Basketball is it's a hard game, and it's one of those things like, how do you tell the difference between AJ taking what is a bad shot for everybody else and then, what may be a good shot for him, right?
Yeah, right.
And it goes in. And so that's why basketball is, super hard. So I think this year, it's obviously going to be a little different because we don't have guys who have graduated and have left. And so it's going to be different. But also, there is going to be some of that where guys, like me and Nate and Titan, and where like some of the guys are going to have to step up and fill some of those scoring spots because guys like, AJ and Noah and Fife and a lot of those guys were scoring a lot for us last year. And so that's what's, like I said earlier, is going to be fun. And what has been fun through the summer is just seeing guys, be ready and gain confidence and, start to really improve their game.
So many of you guys on this team or in similar high school situations played against each other and so forth and knocked heads at the high school level. Did that maybe help in terms of your ability to translate it to being teammates?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that's been cool. Like a lot of us have been all from either Iowa or Minnesota. Like last year, it was all Iowa and Minnesota guys. And so now we have a kid from Turkey. And so, but yeah, it's been fun, like to just grow those relationships because there is, kind of an aspect to it where, you do grow close with guys, even like these guys who are here, you start to become, friends and build friendships just because you guys are all kind of, playing basketball and you're around each other and on the court, you don't like each other, but, you also, then when you're, teammates, then it's, a different aspect, but you still have that, that chemistry of, this guy's a really good player. And like you have that in the back of your head. So I definitely think it's, it's kind of cool that, all of us are kind of from the same area and are all playing for the same team now. So.
Excellent. We'll wrap this up. We're going to talk to some other coaches as we get through this afternoon and players. You're watching the Missouri Valley Conference Media Day from downtown St. Louis right here on ValleyHoopsInsider.com.